Get started, y'all. Welcome to Slapping with Truth with your girl Queen A. And today in the house, we got an author. She is an actress. She is a producer, and she just has a lot going on. So she also has a Innastar company nonprofit program that she's going to talk about. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Miss Jacinth. And if I'm saying it wrong, she's going to correct me. So how are you doing today? So just kind of let the people know a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Well, hi, my name is Jacinth Headlam. I'm a filmmaker, actor, author. I'm also an author coach who help people write and publish their books. And I have a nonprofit called Innastar, where we have, arts programming for healing and restoration and, mental health awareness. And also we have our staple event, which is the Innastar Trailblazer Awards that we do every year, just to bring acknowledgement and recognitions to people in the arts, and also some of our legendary talents who are unsung heroes who never gotten their flowers. So that's what we're doing, is just to just pay homage and just pay respect to people that have paved the way in the arts, and people who are doing their thing and trailblazing now in the present.
Oh man. So that's a whole lot. So just tell me how you got into that. So what made you even start with especially the Innastar? Like, so we'll just start right there first before we go through the other stuff. So what made you start your own Innastar nonprofit program? What was it like something like chances that you had before that you didn't get that you feel like other people could have had, or
Well, I know that as a filmmaker, who produce films and things of that sort, I first wanted to always do my own film festival. And then I thought about, like, but then again, it's like, the area that I live is not a film hub, is not known for filmmakers. It's not like I'm in a New York City right now, or LA or Atlanta, where a film festival will be popular. So I'm like, let me keep it more broad and just recognize multiple sectors of the arts. So, like, musical performer, actor, actress, photographer, videographer, dancer, choreographer, media trailblazers, and just different, even visual artists, and just, recognizing a lot of people in the arts. But also one of my favorite part about the Innastar Trailblazer Awards is recognizing our rising stars. So some of our, like, youth creatives, some of our students, because for me is planting that seed. Like, adults, they pretty much live their lives.
right, right,
But
right.
the kids, to me, they're still moldable, they're still young, they're still easier to soak up things. So for me, it's trying to get them at a young age to plant the seed where, if I had someone pouring into my life when I was their age, 10, 11, 12, I think I'll be so much further in my art, so much further as an artist, as a creative. But I didn't learn a lot of the stuff like filmmaking or acting until I was like in my 20s. So I'm like a late bloomer. So for me, it was crucial to just plant the seeds and help them to have that encounter, and just water the seed and watch it grow. So to get them on the stage to collect their first award, and be in an event to this magnitude, to me, that's priceless.
Oh, I love that. And we don't have a lot of people that's doing that and recognizing,
Yeah.
that it's other people out here that deserve to get their flowers that don't get them. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they're not in the big cities. Like I'm not in New York and Atlanta, and all that. So, I just want to take my hats off to you and tell you that we need more people like you to think like that. If we had that, we have a depression. I can tell you right now would be lower for one. you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
depression would be lower.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you didn't start doing that till you was in your 20s. So what was you doing kind of before that? Well, like,
Um,
was you always in acting or dancing or?
No, I started that when I started modeling at 16, when I was living in New York City. I was born and raised in Jamaica, so I transitioned from Jamaica to Brooklyn, New York, in the US, around 11 years old. And I started to wanting to dibble dabble in the arts and do modeling because I was always tall and long and lanky. And I'm like, well, I got to do something with this height and this lankiness. And then the only thing I could think of was modeling. Um, so I'm like, okay, I didn't have the time after school to really dedicate to playing basketball like I really wanted to, or track and field because I loved running. I've always in Jamaica, I was a track star. And then when I came to the US, that's when I was exposed to basketball. But I never really joined a team. I just played at my leisure or played during gym class. Um, but I was just like, I wonder if I was to do modeling, how far would I get? Because I do have the posture. I do have the built and the shape for it and the height. I was always very tall. And I was always just long and lanky. So I was just like, I'm gonna get into modeling. So I think I was working at Starbucks at the time as an after school job, and I was approached. I think someone approached me about like barbers on. You know how you see stuff out there in the public, and that's when I saw barbers on and it piqued my interest. And I'm like, man, this is something I would love to do. And when I went home and asked my mom, like, hey, I want to do modeling. I'm needing help because I need to take photos and the classes and stuff like this. And then she was like, modeling, like picnic or take your book, and that's just a typical Jamaican thing. And I don't blame her because, they don't know better. So, in my family and in my generation, especially in those third world country, the art is looked at as like a hobby or like just something fun. It's not looked at as a career or anything serious. So for my family, it was like, hey, you're gonna be a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, something in the health field, something where
Right.
you have a stable career, stable income, not 1 month you're working and for the next 2 months you're off, or so I understand why most traditional parents wouldn't really take to the art as a career move. But for me, I wanted to do it. So I just saved up my money that I was working at Starbucks. And I think at the time too, I was also I was at Chuck E. Cheese, and yeah, I played Chucky. And I used that money and put myself through Barbizon, and it taught me how to walk. It taught me how to do my makeup. It taught me etiquette. It taught me posture. It taught me self-esteem. Um, and then after that, I just took off and started doing a lot of runway shows, photo shoots. I got scammed many times because as a young woman and you're doing it on your own with no guidance, it was a lot of trial and error for me. I faced a lot of challenges, but I never gave up. And then I think once I graduated college and I knew that, okay, modeling book can go but so far, we always had that thing in our mind where it's like, if you're in New York and you ain't hit it, you ain't made it by mid-20s, you can pretty much kiss your modeling career goodbye. I was just like, what is something I can still do in the arts? And no matter what age I'm at, I will still have a job or still work. And I'm like, ooh, acting. Because I always like, you can be 70, you can be 80, you can be 65, you can be
Right.
30, 19. You'll always have a job because there's no cutoff for acting, because you're acting out real life. So that's the mindset I had then. So that's when I started taking classes and I started dibble dabbling into acting a little bit. Um, and yeah, my first job, I told my dad I wanted to do acting and I wanted to do like a Nollywood film because that's something me and my family watched a lot when I was younger with some Nollywood film. And my dad
Right.
was just like, I have this Nigerian guy who does film. I should connect you guys. And he hooked me up with Demaraye Deniran, who wrote the film Diary of a Bad Man for me. And that was my first feature film, my first, project, and that just took off. We traveled with that film. We went to London, Canada. We sold out all Jamaica. We won multiple festivals. We got so much love for Diary of a Bad Man. I think it was just new, fresh. It was Jamaican American content, that people, it was nothing like it, and it was well received, and that's where my career started in film. And when I transitioned from modeling into film, and I've been doing it ever since. And that happened, my first role, Diary of a Badman, I think we recorded that in 2015. So dag, it's come next year, we'll make it a 10-year. I should probably hit them up to do like a 10-year anniversary.
Anniversary, yes.
Wow, that just dawned on me. So I'm sorry, that's all of that in a nutshell. So you might have to cut some of that. I know it was mad long.
Oh nah, no. I'm glad you did. So, because I heard you say, so you from Jamaica,
Yes.
and and you came over here. So, what was like the mindset challenges that you had? Because, like you said, in Jamaica, arts is like just a hobby, and coming over here, and now you want to be, like you want to be a star, but you want to be a model. So, what kind of like mindset challenges did you have to face? Like
Um,
transitioning to from like the ways of Jamaica to like the ways of how it is over here.
I
Was there
feel
any
like
like challenges?
I didn't I didn't think about modeling in Jamaica because I was still a child. I was still in elementary school. I didn't start thinking about modeling until I was like in high school. Like I think I was like a junior. So it was like around 16, 17 was when I started to think about modeling because I was so tall. I'm 5'9". And and then I started to get into heels and started to like wanting to be more feminine and more, and then I don't know, it just dawned on me to do modeling. But the only challenges to answer your question was just not having the right support system. I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have any guide. So I had to do a lot of stuff on my own. And with doing that, I got taken advantage of as well. You have a lot of scam artists, a lot of people that see you're green, you're desperate. They sell you a dream. Oh, you pay this and I can get you on this and I can get you here and I can get you there. And you're like, for real? And you're just so gullible because you're young, you're naive. And it just comes with the territory. So that's why people have to, and that's another reason why I love that I'm doing what I'm doing with Innastar is guiding the youths and really being there and creating that mentorship and that big sister, big brother guide where we're molding these young artists because the world is like a voucher, man. It's cruel out here in these worlds. Like people are crazy. You have so much happening to our kids, our women, just people just taking advantage of the innocent. So just got to be careful if you're a new talent watching this and you want to do acting, modeling, or singing or whatever. It's the entertainment industry is a male dominated industry. And if you're not careful, if you're not wise, if you don't use discernment, if you don't do the work and take it serious and take classes and learn and get a mentor, you will be taken advantage of. So be very careful, be very wise, and get mentor. Get someone, get a group of people that you can go to, ask question, get help, and don't just go into this heads on by yourself, flying blind, because it's a lot of moving pieces to this industry, and you can't trust everybody.
And that's the truth. It's a lot of scammers out there. I tell you, I got scammed plenty of times. So I already know when you said that, I'm like, for real, when they see you coming and you,
Hmm.
especially
They can
when you
smell it
new,
from a
fresh,
distance.
hey,
They know.
they know. Don't they? It's like
Mhm.
they can smell it, and it's like they know exactly what to tell you to get you to come off that money. Like they know exactly what to tell you. Like, so with that being said, how do you, because your thing is about empowerment, right? Because I heard you say, you have an empowerment journal when I was speaking to you on the last call, right? You said you have an empowerment journal or something like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
with,
Star. Mm-hmm.
oh, that's okay. So with your empowerment journal, what do you feel like women need to be, or anybody need to be more empowered? Like, what are some of the things you do to stay empowered?
Um, I would say journaling. Also it goes back to having a strong support system. Um, It really does because where you fall short and where you feel like giving up and when you feel like you're second guessing yourself, is going to be many times when you want to throw in the towel and you need that sister or that brother or that friend or that mentor to just nudge you and say, "No, keep going. Look at where God have brought you from. Look at where you are now. You accomplished this, you accomplished that." And just somebody to be that reminder to let you know, look, you've came a long way. The last thing you want to do is give up now. But oftentimes as artists, it's easy to want to slide into place of just wanting to give up or just wanting to slow down or wanting to stop because you feel defeated. You feel like, should I even bother? I just need to be more realistic and go to a regular 9 to 5 corporate America and call it a day. Like, we have those thoughts a lot, but it's other having those, strong-minded individuals around you that can nudge you and say, we proud of you, keep going. So I would say that helps me a lot, is having people around me in my corner that can motivate me and keep me going. But also mental health is real. So make sure you take time to feed your mind. I watch a lot of self-empowerment YouTube videos, a lot of Sarah Jakes, um, some motivational, like Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Like, I watch a lot of motivational speakers, because when I feel defeated and I feel like giving up, I have these things that I can tap into, or just listening to audible books like The Power of Now, or like a lot of empowerment self-help books. I read a lot of those. Even if I don't have time to sit still and read, I listen to it on Audible. So I would say, like, make sure you feed your mind. And how can I forget the number one thing? Prayer. I am a praying woman. I don't play when it comes to my prayer life. And I know sometimes I'm not the most powerful, will sit here and pray for hours, but I make it my point of duty to make sure I start my day out with prayer. I set the tone. I go in God's presence with thanksgiving and gratitude, a posture of gratitude. So it makes my day flow a lot smoother. And whenever I'm going through anything, prayer is that key for me. And having people that you can love, people that you can trust and give you advice, to hold you accountable, and to keep pushing you, and to keep you and remind you of who you are, whose you are, how great you are. You need those pushers behind you, for real.
Yes, yes, you do. Environment is key to anything, so that's one of the main things I talk about is environment. Is it any time that you felt like, or can you think of a time where you feel like if you would have had more support, that maybe you would have took off a little bit sooner, or maybe you could have, did things a little bit better if you would have had the correct support system, or things you might have lost out on because you didn't have the correct support system?
Um, I feel like everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Um, but I do feel like, if I had the right support system and probably a mentor in the arts, whether it's acting or modeling, someone who can be like, nah, don't do that, or this person is a scam, or this person is wasting your time. Like, I wish we had, and then this day and age is different because you guys have it so much easier. You can ask ChatGPT about a company and see what scam reports are out there. You can Google and find out if someone is a scam artist. You can go on social media and read comments and ask people about there's so many checks and balances and so many systems in place now that you guys are more fortunate now. Where me 10 years ago, we didn't have an AI. We didn't have that much resources like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was way harder.
Yes, yes. They
Yeah.
they get all they gotta do is click a button now. It's like you
Yeah,
can
all you
find
got,
any.
like, that's why when people say, when people come off with that lazy mentality, it's like, how? There's no way or no reason for you to be lazy. There's so much convenience at our fingertip. It's crazy, from YouTube to AI to like, there's so many things that have literally can cripple us and make us lazy, because the internet literally have so much resources to spoon feed us, where it does everything for you. There's no reason for anyone to be lazy.
And that's true. It's really not. It's no reason for nobody, because people are watching people eat things. People are watching people run things over, and people is getting paid for that. Like, for doing anything now online.
Yes.
So, like you said, it ain't no reason. If you just want to sit there and eat on TV, somebody will literally watch you do that. So it's no reason. So
There's no
I'm all with you for that. So your book. So what inspired you to write your book that you have, and what is so talk about your book a little bit that you have.
Love After started as a journal because when it happened, I was going through a divorce. I had two kids. At the time, my kids were so young. My daughter at the time was only 3, and my son at the time was like only 7. And going through a divorce at that during that time was rough. And then when you going back and forth with custody and have assets involved, it can get real ugly. And not really, I wouldn't say really ugly, because we were able to settle stuff peacefully. But the adjustment and the aftermath took a toll on me, where it was just like not being able to see my kids full time, because now you have 50-50 custody. You can only see your kids certain times a day, or certain times a week, or every other week. So, and at that time, my kids were pretty much still in elementary school. My kids were, I had a whole toddler. So to go a whole week and not see my kids, that took me out. Like, I felt lifeless. I felt hopeless. I was losing my marbles. Um, and just journaling and just my prayer life, and just like, and then it just dawned on me, like, a couple people kept asking me, um, like, just saying, you've been through so much, and how you walk around with a smile on your face after what you went through and everything you just described that you're going through, and how you're being treated, and you still have a smile on your face. Like, yo, you really need to write about this. There's people out here who needs to hear your story. And I was like, really? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm private. People are going, no, I can't put my business out there on Front Street like that. No, ma'am. But it just kept on coming up and coming up. And, whenever I speak to anyone, and, I share my story and what where I'm at, and what, my transition and what's going on in my life. Of course, it's with close loved ones. They just kept on going back to, Ja, I don't know why I see you writing a book. And I was just like, I need to sit down and really think, give this some thought, because I keep hearing this thing about writing a book. And I'm like, I don't even, that's not even been in my cards. That's not a plan I had. I don't even know. Like, me and books, no, for what? We don't even get along. Like, I'm a math girl. I'm a numbers girl. Um, and then I remember one day I was in the shower breaking down, just bawling my eyes out. Like, my shower time and my car time is usually when I vent, or I talk to myself, I pray, and that's my time to just let it out, and just, just be vulnerable, because that's just my alone. That's the only time I'm really alone is when I'm in the shower or my car, you know. And I remember one day I was bawling my eyes out in the shower, and just like just over it, just exhausted, just done. And I just remember there was a voice that was so, like, it was just like, there's love after these deaths. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? There's love after this, like. And I just kept hearing the word, there's love after this. So initially my book was called Love After Deaths. And then one of my, the person who was helping me, that was helping me with the book, she was just like, if you want to write a book, I can help you, Miss Andrea. I can write a book, I can help you, don't worry about it, I'll hold your hand. And that she did. And then I think it came up, I wouldn't use the title death, because it's negative. It's gonna, like, I don't know, people might confuse, thinking that you're talking about like actual death, like grief.
Right.
So it might throw people off. Why don't you just use love after? And that's where it came, just love after. um and then the book came out, and that book took me to so many places and stages, and um just many places in my life that I would have never thought I would go to. It even supersede what I was doing with acting. So it just goes to show you, you just never know where life is going to take you. Nothing happened by accident. um I who know that my book would have been my biggest breakthrough. Took me to different countries, me speaking in different schools, different continents, and just sharing my story, and empowering and motivating the masses through my story of love after. And not only that, that story, had I not went through what I went through, I wouldn't have written a book. Now my movie is transformed into a film, because I do film. So now I was able to transform my story. Well, I won't say I transformed my story. My story inspired my film Love After. I kept the title, and it spoke mainly about, like, the devastation of a divorce, and how it rips away family, but also the toll it has on the children. So that's the part that I went that I kept. Everything else that's in movie is just movie magic. But that's the part I connected to, was the story, just telling the story of a divorce and the aftermath of it, and how the effect it have on the family. But had I not gone through what I went through, I wouldn't have written the book Love After. I wouldn't have done the movie Love After, that starring, Malik Yoba, Trina the rapper, Terrell Hicks, from Belly and Bronx Tale. Myself, I'm the leading actress in it, alongside Jeremy Meeks, who's playing my ex-husband, my kid's father. Malik Yoba, who played my therapist. Got to have a good old therapist. And Trina, who played Minerva, who was my crazy boss. Like, stern, very, very stern. She's the one that have my behind handed to me. And now, we're touring with Love After Holidays. It's about to be released early next year. We just found out, landed with a great distribution company. So stay tuned for that. And I just say all of that to say, transform your pain into your purpose. Had I not went through all that pain, I wouldn't have gotten here. Walking in my purpose, walking in my truth, sharing my story, being a light. Tap into your purpose, tap into your pain, use it for your good.
I love that. So, without that, when you hear the word fear, what comes to mind?
Um, Insecurity.
I love, I love it.
When you think of fear, is like you're running from you. What is it that you're battling? What is it that you're fear? Because really, fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. It's self-sabotaging thoughts that you have that's stopping you from your greatness, that's stopping you from doing something uncomfortable, that's scary to you because it's not familiar. It's stopping you from trying something new, because if it was familiar, you wouldn't have fear because you already know the outcome, right?
Ooh.
But if it's something new, you're gonna be fearful. If it's a new relationship, if it's a new project, if it's a new investment, if it's a new friendship, you're gonna be fearful at first, because it's like the fear of the unknown. You don't know where it's gonna take you. Am I wasting my time? Is this even worth it? Will it work out? And it's the thing is the fear of the unknown and it's also you feel like you're losing power. You fear something when you feel powerless, because it's like you have all this fear of the unknown, of not, you can't get a grip of, will it work or not, is it for me or not, and it takes time to know, will it work in your favor or not. And that's the thing that people don't really like, is the waiting part.
That part. And I'm glad you said that. It's almost like they heard me over, because when I talk about fear, that's what I say. I say you only encounter fear because it's something that you don't know you're uncertain of what's going to
Mhm.
happen, right? You're
Yep.
unclear, whatever it is. Like you go down the alley, it's not the dark alley that scares you, it's what's possible to happen in a dark alley that you're
Yep.
fearful of,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because for a lot of people, they hear me say it all the time, but they have somebody else on here that thinks the same way when they
Yep.
see fear. They're like, wow, like, then how successful you are. Now, this
Yep.
lady is from Jamaica, came over here, right? And just one of the quotes you said to me when we was on when we had our last call, I wrote it down. She said she believes in taking her chance and not waiting,
Mhm.
right? You
Mhm.
said that. Can you explain what you mean by that?
For me, it's like really just stepping out on faith, man, and not waiting for somebody to hand you, not waiting for people's validation, but really just like taking life by the horn, and just not being, like you said, like nipping fear in the butt and just going hard, going all out. Because what's behind fear, what's behind the unknown, is like, you can't sit here and give that much power to people. For me, perfect example. If I was to sit here and wait on an agent or a manager to find me a job, I won't be working. It's but so much they can do. So what I did, there's certain things I wanted to do. So I created my own films. And I'm not saying it's easy, but that's where collaboration comes in. I collaborated with people that's in my corner, people that I've been exposed to. You're exposed to people for a reason. Use it. Like you don't cross paths with people by accident. Everyone is strategically placed in your life for either a purpose, short term or lifetime, or it's a specific reason why someone is in your life. Some of them are short term, some of them are lifetime because they're tied to a purpose for a given time or given reason or season, so there's power in collaboration. So, when I knew I had an idea and I knew I wanted to develop my film, I spoke to one of my filmmaker, Antoine Allen, and got him to vouch for me and co-sign with me and came on as my director and tap into his resource and how he can help to move the project forward. And then, he was able to bring on this person and that person. And I was able to bring on my other friends who are producers, who are great actors. And we all come together and we all collab. And the collaboration don't mean that they do it for free. People still got to get paid, but still there's power in numbers. And when I always say, and I'm going to say till I'm blue in the face, if God give you a vision, he already made the provision. You just have to be obedient and walk in it. So I don't worry about where the money is going to come from. I know
Mm,
it's waiting for me. I don't know where it's gonna come from, but I know somebody's out there with a check waiting for me. Like, man,
right.
I was waiting for something to bite my teeth into. I was waiting for something to invest in. And you know what? I love what you're doing. I want to support you. I want to back you, queen, or whatever it is. You just never know who is looking to meet you, who is looking to lock hands with you, who's looking to collaborate or invest in you. You don't know, but closed mouth don't get fed. And if you got to do your part, which is just walk in obedience and do it. And you will magnet, like the right people, you're like a magnet. The right people that's supposed to be tied to you will come to you. You will cross paths with whoever needs to be in your season for that specific project, for that specific purpose, for that specific time. They'll come to you, you'll cross paths with them.
And for you, how do you dictate when somebody is in your life for a long time or for the short term? How do
That's not
you
something you can predict. It just, you try the spirit by the spirit. There's some people that I've met that I know that, oh my God, this is an amazing bond, an amazing friendship, but there's not longevity. But it's a dope connection. Like, it's like I will always have a special place in my heart for that person because they served a great purpose in my life for that specific time. When I think of that moment, they were very instrumental. I would never forget about that person. They served their purpose. And there's just some people where you're like, you lock hands with someone and you're like, man, I feel like I've known you all my life. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? So
yes,
it's a spiritual thing, it's energy. Like, there's just some people that you just meet and it's like, oh my God, blood couldn't make us no thicker. Like, I felt like I've known you my whole life, and we still like thick as thieves. We're still locked in arms. It just meshes so beautifully. That's why whenever I have a relationship, it doesn't matter romantic or friendship, and there's too much friction, I got to go back to the drawing board. And I'm like, something shouldn't be this difficult. So I'm led with my peace. Like, if I feel like, it's like, is this too much friction, too much lack of peace? It's not flowing. And I know everything is not going to be easy, but there should be a certain level of peace that surpasses all understanding that you have with any connection and anything that you do. And if my peace starts to dwindle down and it starts to shadow and it's starting to diminish, now I have to check in with myself and say, okay, Lord, what is the purpose behind me, coming in contact with this person or crossing paths with this person? Was this person meant to be a lesson? Was this person only meant for me to do this or that with them? Was this person supposed to be tied to my life, but it's just me and I'm having a hard time seeing it right now? So I just got to check in and ask for confirmation, ask for direction, ask for clarity. And when I ask and I speak and I seek, I find. And something happens to prove me wrong or right. Something happens, whether it's something that's said or some action that takes place after I'm seeking for answers, that happens that confirm, like, yeah, this is not supposed to be long term. It was only supposed to be seasonal. It stayed way past its due date.
right,
It stayed
right.
way past the due date, and I gotta take accountability for that. It's my fault. I wasn't being discerning. I didn't tap in. I allowed it to go on for far too long, and it didn't serve me, and that's my fault. I gotta take the L on that. So you just gotta tap in. That's why you gotta know thyself. You have to know yourself. When you know yourself, you know what serves you and what doesn't. And the things that no longer serve you, you have to learn how to let it go. You have to
Mhm.
learn how to say no. And that sometimes could be the hardest thing because we don't want to we fear detaching. We fear losing relationship. We fear letting go of people because we don't want to lose the connection. We don't want to lose the feeling and the convenience of that connection. We don't
Yeah.
like to be alone. We don't like to feel that detachment because that detachment is grief. Who likes to grieve? You know?
Right. That's true.
So,
That's none of us do, you know. And then none of us, like they say, the truth hurt. A lot of people don't like facing the truth, you know, like because that's like too much of admitting that you know what they is right. That person ain't good for me, or this environment is not serving me right. You know, we don't like truth as humans. We just don't for some reason. And that's why the environment is going the way it is. And one of the things I want to talk about when it comes to that is accountability, because no matter what you do in your life, whether you're an author, an actress, you flipping burgers, it don't matter. You're a parent. Accountability is one of the things that is going to be present. You know, how do you feel? How important do you feel like accountability is? Because a lot of people, it's hard for adults, youth, it's hard for anybody to take accountability because people don't like truth. But how important do you think it is to improve your process of where
yep.
you
Yep. That's so true. That is so true. I love that. I love that.
so it's like how important do you feel like it is accountability is, because in anything you do in life you have to be accountable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to get to a point in your life where you got to put your big girl panties on and your grown boy boxes on, and you got to just suck it up and take accountability. And that is the hardest thing for a lot of people. And lack of accountability is what ends a lot of relationship or connection prematurely. Because all that person needed was for you to take accountability and just simply say, I'm sorry, or I understand where you're coming from. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Oh no, you definitely took it the wrong way, or you took it out of context. That's not what I meant. Or I'm sorry. It just sometimes it's just taking accountability and just saying, I'm sorry. I understand what you mean now. I shouldn't have went that way. I shouldn't have said that. Or yeah, but I was wrong. But in this world, I feel like people are naturally selfish. And everybody's trying to be right. Everybody's trying to prove a point. Everybody is defending themselves. Everybody's on the defense. So you have people that's just talking, 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 and talking to two walls are talking to each other. And nobody's taking accountability, and it's just a matter of taking just taking self and your feelings and and just taking self and your feelings and your pride and putting it to the side and see things for what it is at the core, and just see things from different lens. And sometimes that's not the easiest to do. That's why people, that requires a lot of maturity, mental maturity, emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, that a lot of people lack and don't have. So accountability, I'll be lying if I tell you I'm the best at taking accountability, but I try my hardest because I try to, if I don't have anything good to say, I don't say nothing at all. I try to live by that. And it doesn't always go good because sometimes you and your feelings, I'm human and I gotta just get it out.
Oh
I
Lord.
gotta, I gotta get it out because because I'm put in a place where I have to defend myself. But you get to a certain level of maturity, like, you know what? The truth is gonna be the truth. I shouldn't have to defend myself and defend my character and try to prove you right or wrong. It's gonna rise to the top regardless. And if it don't make sense now, it's gonna make sense in 2 weeks or 2 months, and you gonna be the one calling me back talking about you were right. I know I was right.
Right. Right.
It's just like you said, accountability is very, very, very important. And a lot of people go to sabotage their journey, their self, their purpose, and their prosperity because of lack of accountability and responsibility and taking ownership of something and owning up to something because of pride, because they're trying to be right and prove everything and prove themselves. And for what? It doesn't even matter at the end of the day.
And it really doesn't. And like you said, everybody is in competition, especially with social media, right? It's like everybody's fighting for, the follows and the hearts and the likes, and everybody's competing for a subscribe, and it's like nobody is really in their person. Like, one of the things I talk about is a lot of people don't understand that statistics show the more we online, the more depressed we are. So I love what you're doing. Like with how you said, like you want to give people their flowers, who wouldn't get their flowers if they didn't have people like you, right? So just tell us, where can we find you at, right? Because it's gonna be a lot of people listening to this and they're gonna be like, you know what, where can I find her at? So where can they, like, what platforms are you on? How can they find you? Like, and so we'll start there.
Absolutely. I'm Googleable, so Jacinth Headlam, you put my name in, everything will come up from my website to my Instagram to my movies to my books to everything is gonna come up on Instagram. Is I'm Jacinth. That's Jacinth. It's not I am, it's I am Jacinth. And from my personal Instagram, I link to everything from Innastar page to CEO of Jacinth Media Production page to my movie page. I link everything from my personal page. Um, so yeah.
Hey, and where can we find your book at? Love After.
Right now I pulled it off Amazon, but I think it's still on Barnes and Noble because I just wanted to just like put a new image out there. I don't want to. I'm no longer my past story of divorce and all of that. Like I want to now rebrand and change the narrative. But it is on Audible. I do love Audible, so I'm not going to take it off Audible. But it is on Audible if you like to listen to books, and I believe it's still in Barnes and Nobles, and it's on Kindle on Amazon as well. I haven't taken that down yet, but I am gonna going into the new year. I do plan on just like trying to pull that off and to prepare for my new book, which is Love After Transformation.
Oh, okay. And you on YouTube, you said too, right?
Yes. So it's
Okay.
everything under the same I am Jacinth as well.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna have people on here listening and they're gonna be wanting to find you, because when I say you're so inspirational and you're doing something that we don't have a lot of people out here doing. A
Mhm.
lot of people are not getting their flowers. We have people that work hard, and I'm
Yes.
talking about work harder than some of the stars that's out there, that's known, but they're working real hard, just like it's not as much as them, and they don't get no flowers. They don't have no recognition. So I'm just want to say thank you for the ones who don't. And you do even youth filmmaking, correct? So you said youth and adult.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's so the Innastar program does that recognizes youth and adults then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just for the people out there that want to know, y'all. So, and if anybody was interested in your Interstar program, how could they join?
Sure. You can email me at info@innastar.org. That's info at INNASTAR.org. Innastar.
Okay. So
.org.
y'all heard her now. So make sure y'all reach out. Make sure y'all reach out, follow her on all platforms. She does
Mhm.
an amazing job. And she has more than just two movies, because I think she only named two. But I watched the ones, I didn't even watch the ones she named. I watched some other ones, but the ones I
I know
watched,
Driving Force is my latest one. Driving Force is currently on Tubi. That's like a
okay.
family faith-based film. Um, there's to his Diary of a Bad Man is on Tubi. There's a few film that's on Tubi currently. And the one that I'm working on now that's in post-production, which is Love After Holiday, which we're just gonna be naming it Love After now. Is going through some changes that will be released first thing top of the year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to it. So I watched your movies that you had sent me, and I must say you are a great actress.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
you
you.
really are. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I watched. I was like, let me see what she's talking about. Let me see. You know how you watch somebody start like, let me see if she an actress. Let me see. But I was so amazed. I must
Thank
say,
you.
like, when I watched your movies, you did amazing. And I watched, and she played different parts, y'all. So she don't always play the same kind of, person. She switched it up. She might be serious in one, a little goofy in another one. So, but you can switch it up. You can turn it on and you can turn it off. A lot of people don't have that. You have some actresses, they have to always be serious. Some have
Mhm.
to always be funny. But you can do a mixture of a little bit of everything. And that's what I've noticed about you. when I watch your films. Like you're not just, I don't just see you doing action. I don't just see you doing drama. I believe in my heart that you can do any kind of acting you wanted to do, because everything I see you playing so far, I could tell you put your all into it, and like you put your heart into it. Like,
Thank you.
so if I just want to give you the flowers that I can give you on here, because I seen your movie, so I'm not on here telling y'all something that I didn't see. I watched the movies on YouTube for myself, and she is a great actress. So y'all make sure y'all watch the movies and get her book, Love After. It's on Barnes and Noble. She said she believe, and if it's still on audio. So we have a lot of people out there that listen to audio. So make sure y'all listen to it on audio. What's it called? Audible. Because I listen to it too. Yeah, Audible. And if y'all want to join her Innastar program, she actually expressed to y'all how to reach out. So is it a certain criteria that you look for the Innastar program, or how does that work?
I mean, right now, I mean, we're in the future, we're looking to do our international cultural exchange program where we'll have something virtual that we're still trying to develop right now. But however, the programming for like our glow confidence camera, on camera confidence and filmmaking, that is here in Allentown, PA. So you would have to unfortunately be here locally. But
Okay.
but yeah, we're going to stay tuned because we're gonna have programming where people can be able to access it virtually.
Okay. Oh, so you're in Pennsylvania. That's what
Yeah.
that said.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So if y'all in Pennsylvania, y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all reach out. And I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure they already know about the program down there real good, because you're
Uh-huh.
doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. Before we get off of here, do you have any words for as like keeping somebody confident on their journey in life before we jump off?
I think I would say, we always say hear the word be you, but I think after speaking earlier on fear, I think it's really knowing how to combat your fear and really like do it scared. Like nip fear in the butt, because that is what's gonna hold you captive. That is what is gonna hold you hostage. That is what is gonna hold you stagnant from reaching and unlocking countless possibilities and potential. Is really nipping fear in the butt, because it's gonna lead you to self-sabotage. It's gonna leave you um procrastinating because of the fear of the unknown. So I would say that's the biggest motivation thing, is trying to find ways to really combat your fear that can really help have you walking in your purpose wholeheartedly, and find people who can really nudge you and hold you accountable to not give up and to do it, to do the work, and to not procrastinate and be lazy. So yeah.
That's real important. That's real important. Like the people you surround yourself around. Because they say what I listen to is you show me your top 10 friends, right? And I'll
Mm-hmm.
show you your future. That's what
Yep.
that's what the saying is.
Yep.
So that's very
Mm-hmm.
important to be mindful of who you are around. That's why I speak so much on environment, y'all. But before we go, I just want to just thank Miss Jacinth for being here. This is a very busy woman. She is an author, an actress, a film producer. She's got Innastar. She got so much going on, but she took time out of her busy schedule to be on this podcast to share her journey with you all. So if you're watching, just take the time and show the love back by following her on her platforms. And if you're interested in Innastar, go, reach out to them. Set an appointment, reach out to them, and watch her movies on Tubi, y'all. And is they anywhere else, or are they just on Tubi?
That's the only part I know that is on. I haven't searched anywhere else. I think I
Okay,
just,
that's okay.
I think
That's
at
all
one
right.
point some of them were on Amazon Prime, but I think they started to just drive traffic to Tubi, because not for nothing, I believe, Tubi just is more, it's a lot, it's growing very, very fast, and it pays out a lot more. So I see a lot of people as to like why they all pull their movie off a certain platform and just strictly do Tubi, so they can drive as much traffic in one location versus having people all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Well, I want to thank you again before we get off of here.
Thank you.
And y'all already know what I'm gonna say, right? If don't nobody else love y'all, Queen A does. Later. And I'm just gonna stop.